Lauren here at Homeschool and Life, and today I'm going to share with you my kindergarten review, or what we use for kindergarten here in our home. So stick around and see what materials and curriculum that we've chosen for most of our 5 children through the years. We have been a homeschooling family from the very beginning. I have 5 children, ages 14 down to 6, and we just, I want to say finished, but we didn't really finish our kindergarten year with our youngest. He actually is a very young kindergartner. He started kindergarten in the fall of last year, but he was just newly 5 over the summer. And so I like to do things a little bit slower when I have a young kindergartner. Our third was also the same way. He has a late spring, early summer birthday, and so I just tend to think that they do better when they're a little bit older, especially my boys. Getting closer to 6, it's like everything clicks a little bit better. So what we chose to do was go ahead and start him. He was ready, he was excited, but just take things a little bit slower with him. And so you'll kind of see that in some of the things that we used this year and what we finished and what we didn't. So here's what we used for phonics and reading this year. We like to use the Abeka homeschool curriculum for phonics. This is their K-5 teacher's manual, and I just own this already just from years. Like I said, last child, 5th child homeschooling. So I just kind of use these lesson plans and just as kind of my base of like, so I kind of know where we are. We skip over a lot of the first ones, especially if the child's already like knows their letters and is doing you know, probably more advanced work than some kindergartners. So we use this as our base, and we like the Abeka Letters and Sounds phonics program. It works really well for my kids. It is a little bit advanced, so that's why, like I said, we take it a little bit slower pace. And so we worked through almost all of this book. We're actually at lesson 145 is where we ended for our summer break. And we'll just pick back up there and finish out this book. There's actually 170 lessons. So he was almost done. He really could probably do the last few lessons in this book, and he would know what to do. But it's just good practice. And we usually would just work on either one side or both sides, depending on the day. It's like a 2-sided worksheet. Usually a lot of them will have like work with the teacher on this side and then work by themselves on this side. We just did it all together because that's what works well for my kids. So we would do a worksheet a day, and along with this we would use their readers or reading program. This is their handbook for reading is what it's called, and it just has well, it has the charts, and I also own these charts. You can find these also on YouTube, like videos, and we used that as well. They're just like the alphabet, and it teaches them their sounds, and it also breaks down vowels and consonants, blends, which you'll put together. This is also in this book, but you can have the charts. And then as they get up into the or towards the end of the program, at the end of the year, they'll start doing, well, here is like long sound, which is like when it says A, E, I, O, and U, your vowels. And then you'll start these, which are called special sounds in the Abeka program. So special sounds are just groups, blends, you know, groups and blends of words that are pretty common in the English language. Sorry if this has got a glare. I have sheet protectors on these because they've been through 5 children. So we just use these every day, go over a few things until they get them memorized, and then we'll review and move on to the next chart. So it just keeps going, you know, multiple levels. And we're about, I would say about halfway through learning these. And like I said, they're also in this handbook for reading book as well. So you don't have to have the charts, but you can use them. They also have readers in the kindergarten program, and these are paperback, and we use these, and they've lasted pretty well. It's kind of funny because actually I was homeschooled as well, and these were actually some that one of my younger brothers used. So they were passed down to us, and we're still using them. And so you'll go through these. I think there are, like, I do read, I can read well, different levels, and there's about 3 to 4 books in each level. And he actually finished out these books this year. He read through all the books in the kindergarten level. So what we usually do then, if they finish those out, we either move on to the first grade level, which I'll actually show y'all those in just a minute, or I have the readers from the program All About Reading, and so we also started working through a few of these books as well. And we also use the Bob books. Those are really good for early readers and just to give them extra practice. And like I said, we move on. I have all the readers. These are like an old copy, so it probably looks a little dated, but it's the same material. And so we read through, and we haven't started these yet. I kind of saved them, but we'll probably start in the next few weeks, just for more reading practice and things. And he'll go through the first grade books, and we have all of those as well. So for phonics, we use the Abeka program almost exclusively, minus throwing in extra readers. We get books from the library as well, like level 1 readers, and he'll read those as well. And outside of that, we use Reading Eggs on, it's a subscription that we pay for, and he'll do that occasionally. It's not something we use as a curriculum, although you can use it as a curriculum, but it's online based, and it is a really good program. Actually, my number 4 child learned how to read probably exclusively from that program, because we were using it for my 3rd born to just help. He was struggling with reading, and we needed to add in a few extra things. And so at the time, my 3-4-year-old was playing on it too, and he pretty much taught himself to read. We did go through all of the Abeka program, but he went through it really quickly at a little bit younger age than some of my others. So we love Reading Eggs as an extra resource, and we did use that some. Another thing we used for our phonics program is sight words. Abeka has sight words in their program. They do. But I like to add a little bit different ones. So I just go on and get a list of sight words for kindergarten level off a program or online somewhere. And I actually made a little flip book. I just had one of these. I think it came from Walmart back to school a few years ago. And we just write down their sight words on the little flip book, as you can see. The other thing we use for kindergarten is a handwriting or writing program. And I've already started some of my new school year, clean out all the boxes, get rid of last year's stuff. And so I actually threw away his kindergarten writing, but I already have his first grade one here, and this is the program we use. It's called A Reason for Handwriting, and we use their level K for him. And actually my last 3, maybe 4 of my children have used A Reason for Handwriting, and we love them. They are very simple, and this one's a little bit different. In kindergarten, it's mostly just they walk through the alphabet, uppercase and lowercase, and they learn to write all of those out, just the letters, and then they'll do a review and like matching your uppercase and lowercase and things like that. Once you get into the first grade level, which I'm sure I'll cover more later, they're broken up into lessons. And so they have day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4, which we like because we tend to do some of these things more 4 days a week, not 5 days a week. But on the last day, you trace a scripture verse, and all the words that you've been tracing and working with through the week go in this verse, and then they can also copy it out in the back of the book on a piece of blank paper that they provide. So we really like A Reason for Handwriting. Like I said, sorry I threw away my kindergarten one, but it's very basic. He actually finished it like in the late winter, early spring, he was done. So after that, we just kind of printed off and used things from the internet. For math in the early grades, we like to use Horizon Math. So we start all of our children out with Horizon in the level K, kindergarten, and they use this through kindergarten and into first grade a little bit. Horizon tends to be pretty advanced, especially, like I said, I had a young kindergartner this year. Like, he just turned 6, so he's going to be going into his kindergarten first grade year as a newly 6-year-old. So we finished book 1. They come in 2 parts, Horizon does, book 1 and book 2, and we used book 1 for kindergarten up through, and then we started book 2. I think it goes through 80 lessons. Let's see. There are a total of 160 lessons in Horizon Math. So it's 80 lessons in book 1 and then 80 lessons in book 2. So we actually finished, or stopped, I guess I should say, at lesson 113. And so we'll just pick back up there for his first grade year until we finish this out, and then we'll start level 1. We love Horizons Math. It just works well for my kids. Another thing I like to use with our math is some manipulatives. We actually own the Math You See manipulative blocks that they use, and I use that a lot even though we don't use the program itself, but I love their blocks and they work great for those early years of teaching addition, subtraction, a number line, things like those. We also use a clock. I just have this basic, I think it's Melissa and Doug. Yeah, it's like their Disney version. I think I picked this up at a thrift store years ago. It has shapes that we've also used. They're not in here right now, but we'll go over our shapes. It has a list of what the names of the shapes are if you can't remember them on the back. And then we also do time with this, and it has the little hand, hour, the big hand, minutes, and this just helps my kids to learn time a little bit better. It has all the little time dots for each minute, and each number also has what it stands for in minutes, like for 20 minutes. So this works well for teaching time. So along with that, my kindergartner sits in our morning time for Bible, for read alouds, for just history, science, anything that he wants to be included in, he is involved in. It's not required, especially this year. He was young, and so he would sit in on a lot. He enjoyed our science. We did a lot of animal study this year. We did mammals. We did fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds. So he was super into that, and he sat through a lot of that this year. And that was, we used the Good and the Beautiful science lessons this year. So he really enjoyed that. For history, we have coloring sheets that'll go along with that, and he'll sit and color and join in on that. And we do a lot of picture books still in our home for all of my kids, all the way up to my soon-to-be 9th grader, and they really enjoy picture books, and I think picture books are great even in the older grades and things. They can teach us a lot of good things and go along well with our units in science and history that we do. So that's it today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this review, and come back and see us again soon. Thanks.